In a major trade policy shift, President Donald Trump has imposed a 50% tariff on Canadian steel and aluminum imports, doubling the previous rate. This move, justified under national security concerns, aims to protect American metal producers and bring manufacturing jobs back to the U.S. But this decision strikes at the heart of one of the world's most integrated trading relationships, risking widespread consequences for American industry and consumers. This tariff ignores a fundamental reality. Canada is not just another trading partner. It supplies nearly half of America's aluminum and a significant portion of its steel. This cross-border exchange isn't about cheap products. It's about high-quality, reliable materials that U.S. manufacturers depend on. Canadian steel supports the auto industry in Michigan, construction in Texas, and infrastructure projects nationwide. Canadian aluminum is essential for aerospace companies like Boeing and for everyday consumer goods. This partnership has been a cornerstone of U.S. industrial success for decades. The first and hardest hit will be American companies and consumers. Automakers in Detroit rely on Canadian steel and aluminum for vehicle production. These tariffs will force them to either absorb massive cost increases or raise prices for consumers. The aerospace sector faces similar challenges, as high-grade Canadian aluminum alloys cannot be quickly replaced. Construction companies will see rising costs for structural materials like steel beams and rebar, potentially delaying projects and increasing costs. Ultimately, everyday Americans will pay more for cars, appliances, and even canned goods. This decision almost guarantees Canadian retaliation. When similar tariffs were imposed in 2018, Canada responded with targeted measures against U.S. products like bourbon, motorcycles, and agricultural goods. This hurt farmers and manufacturers in key political districts. A new trade war would repeat this damage, undermining the very workers the tariffs claim to protect. Furthermore, this move alienates a critical ally and weakens U.S. leadership on the global stage, signaling that even long-standing partnerships are expendable. Beyond immediate economic pain, this policy threatens long-term U.S. interests. Canada will accelerate efforts to diversify its trade away from the U.S., seeking markets in Europe and Asia. This could permanently reduce U.S. access to reliable, high-quality metals. It also damages the USMCA trade agreement and undermines broader cooperation on security and diplomacy. The message to the world is that the U.S. is an unpredictable partner, which may encourage other nations to reduce their reliance on American markets and supplies. While intended to protect American jobs, these tariffs are more likely to harm the U.S. economy. They benefit a small number of metal producers while imposing higher costs on vast sectors of U.S. industry and consumers. The risk of retaliation, supply chain disruptions, and long-term strategic damage outweighs any potential gains. This decision represents a dangerous gamble with one of America's most important economic relationships, one that may ultimately cost more jobs than it creates.